So if you've been following the journey of the Forkestra, you've definitely seen me play with a lot of different musicians, uh, different lineups, from Cody Wright on the bass to uh, having Mono Neon sometimes. Elon is there now, having Chazray Shank on drums, but then having Phil Bronson on drums before that. If you're old school Forkestra, you remember Ryan Lassiter on drums, and now we have Mason Guidry on drums, and so many people just in between, right? Um, so for the first stages of the Forkestra, it was always a set lineup. But then one person would have to leave for whatever reason, and another person would have to come in to replace that person, and then that would be the set lineup. And then maybe a different person would have to leave, another person would come to replace that person, and then that would be the set lineup for a while. But we did this world tour, and I think that was 2015. In the fall slash winter of 2015, we did a world tour where we went to Japan and Europe and Costa Rica and throughout the states, and that was with Cody and Chaz. But right after that, for whatever reason, everyone had to go do their own things in life. So Cody had to go do his own things, and Chaz had to go do his own things. So all of a sudden, sorry, there's police sirens outside, New York. But anyway, I found myself in a position where all of a sudden it was just me for the first time. And at that point, I said, okay, I have to keep this thing running. I have to keep this machine moving. So what I did from that point is I had just like a rotating cast. And that's where I started working with Sput and Mono Neon. And I had Hadrian Farad on some shows. And I had Sharik Tucker on drums on some things. And Jay White on bass. Xavier Breaker. That's where like all those people started flowing in and out, and that's because I just needed to keep the business rolling after losing basically my entire band at one time. So I did that for about not quite a year and a half, but it was an extended period of time. And during that time, I basically told my booking agent, "Hey, just book the gigs. I'll figure out the lineup." So there was lots of times where the schedule would be set, where, all right, this place we're going to be in this city, then this city, and this city, and I didn't know who was going to play what gigs. So I actually had to go through and figure out who's going to play this gig, who's going to play that gig. This person can make these 4 dates, but they couldn't make the 5th date. So the 5th date, I had to get another person, blah, blah, blah. So through all that and all those lineup changes constantly, I didn't feel like I could dig deeper into the essence of my compositions. So what I decided to do was I said, all right, I need to have a set lineup again, because this is kind of running me ragged, trying to reteach the music all the time and not being able to get into the deeper compositions of mine, right? So I sought to have a set lineup again. And the first thing I did was, it all kind of happened at the same time, but I wasn't sure if Mason or Elon, which one came into my consciousness first in terms of the idea, but it actually might have been Mason. But I met Mason at a show in Philadelphia. He came to see the Forkestra when it was Sput, Mono Neon, and Weedy. He came to see us, and I was introduced to him that way. Long story short, I reached out to him without ever playing with him, and he was definitely interested, especially after seeing the show. And then Elon was recommended to me through my good friend Chuck Lichtenberger. And at first I kind of just blew him off. Oh yeah, I've seen Elon around, but I never saw him in that way. But then when I did see Elon in that way, when he was playing with Chuck, it really resonated with me. And then I saw Elon the next day play his own show. And I reached out to both of them. So they both agreed to join the Forkestra, even though we hadn't played together. Mason and Elon didn't know each other. And yeah, I never played music with Elon, never played music with Mason. They both said yes on the same day. And I remember being very happy about that. And then when I went to sleep that night, I was thinking, what have I done? This could be the biggest mistake in my life. I just assembled a band and everyone has already confirmed that they're down. But I've never played a note of music with either of them, and they've never played a note of music with each other. This could be a disaster, but it turned out great.